Hey, it's me, Bobbert, and well, in this Sonic Lost World review, I'm going to do something a bit different from my other reviews. Instead of going over the story, the music, the graphics, which are all good, I'm just going to mainly talk about the gameplay of Sonic Lost World because really that's really the most interesting part of the game. Now, before I begin, I just want to say that this is far from the worst Sonic game ever. It's not even a bad game in general. It's just that, well, I feel like Sega has missed the mark in this game, but they also made some great improvements as well. The first time playing Sonic Lost World, the gameplay took me some time to get used to, which to be fair is expected in Sonic games, especially the 3D ones. It took me about World 2, Zone 2 for me to fully get used to the turning, the new parkour abilities that Sonic has, and this has got to be the most moveset that Sonic ever have, well, at least in a 3D platformer. Now, once I got used to the gameplay, I was having a lot of fun with Sonic Lost World. The only bad thing about taking some time to get used to the gameplay is that I feel like the younger audience, which is the target demographic for Sonic games, may give up on the game a bit fast. Maybe some of the older ones too. Maybe some people automatically classify this as broken gameplay, even though it's not. It's just brand new gameplay that takes a lot of time to get used to. But I feel like Sega should have tried to make this game a bit more simpler and easy to pick up, kind of like a Mario game. But if you actually take the time, it doesn't take too much time. I mean, granted, it took me to the second world for me to get fully used to it, but maybe it'd be faster for some of y'all. But the game is really a lot of fun. It's just, well, like I said, it takes some time. Now, everybody knows that Sonic is about speed and platforming. Sonic Lost World is mostly about platforming, and by mostly I mean like 60-40. Now, I don't blame Sega for making this game mostly platform based because most fans complained that there was too much speed in the recent 3D Sonic games, like Sonic Curves for example. In some areas, the platform section works pretty well, but in other areas, it can really slow down the game a lot. I'm always used to spinning through the stage in every Sonic game, but in this game, there was some parts that you really have to take your time, either because of the mechanic or just because of the section by itself. Now, the ice stages was almost a game kill for me. This stage will mess it up so bad. Even a slight turn can turn into a very sharp turn and makes you fall off the platform. There's even this one section where you roll into a snowball and there's this little abominable snowman things that bounces you off every time you hit it, which is fine. But here's the confusing part. There's also a bigger form of these monsters. Now, logically, you're thinking, hey, I must avoid them, just like the little ones, but no, what you have to do is to run into them so they can bounce off, just like that. And, well, first time playing this, I was learning to just avoid them because I thought it was just going to bounce me off, which, well, it kind of does happen. But it took me like maybe my 8 or 9 tries to figure out that I must run into these monsters. And it really didn't make that much sense to me. It wasn't too consistent, but luckily this only happened in the ice stages. The other worlds seems to be fair when it comes to enemies and level design, but the ice stages, man, if you ever play this game, the ice stages will probably be the most frustrating part of the game, so that's a little heads up for you thinking about getting this game. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself that I hate this game, and I don't blame you for thinking that, but really I don't, honest. There's plenty of things that I like about this game as well. I like the gameplay despite the huge learning curve. I love the variety of moves that the game gives to you and the many options you can use to complete a level. These moves, as well as most of the risk power-ups, are not forced on you and gives you the option not to use them. I hope they implement this in future games, and I would love to see this gameplay style in a sequel. Hopefully improve some of the mechanic and make it simpler for the younger audience. Now here's my final thought in the game. Now, I'm kind of torn and confused with this game. Now, even though I do like the game, and I do want to see the gameplay improve in future Sonic games, personally, I like the game myself, but speaking as a reviewer point of view, who can I really recommend this game for? I mean, if you look at the younger audience, I feel like the variety of movesets and the huge learning curve may alienate some of the younger audience, even though most of the moves are not forced onto them. I still think the learning curve may draw them away. Now, if you look at the older Sonic fans, I feel like that, and trust me, there's a lot of crazy Sonic fans, so it's really hard to specifically define a Sonic fan as in terms as a whole group that is. But I feel like some of the older Sonic fans will not like this game because there's not enough speed for them. It's pretty much kind of like a Mario game with much exploration and platforming. And well, I feel like this is not the game for them if they're looking for like a very fast-paced Sonic game in a traditional way. And even some of the other Sonic fans that are probably more open to new ideas may have a hard time, like myself, enjoying the game at first. But if they try and stay patient, they may end up enjoying it just like I did. But I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to give this game a score that everybody may agree with. And after giving it some thought and some consideration, I think Sonic Lost World, at least, and maybe I'm being a bit generous to this game, but I give it a 7 out of 10. I think Sonic Lost World had a lot of good ideas, and in some part they execute them pretty well, but in other marks I feel like they kind of missed the mark and makes it feel like more like a faster paced Mario game than a traditional Sonic game. Even though I know that's not what they try to go for, but still I feel like at some points I wasn't feel like playing a Sonic game, but just another platformer. Which again, it's not a bad game, and I do encourage everyone to at least try it. Either wait for it to get cheaper or rent it before buying it. But I don't know, I can't specifically express why this game missed the mark. I mean, I don't know, this is kind of personal to me, and I'm still kind of mixed towards it. Maybe if I look back on it, like in a couple of years, maybe I might have a different opinion, or maybe a higher positive review. Maybe I'd go back to it into reviewing this game. But I'm sorry if this isn't my most best review or a decent review in general, I guess, because I know I'm not that great a reviewer, but still I feel like I should have and could have done better. But I hope at least a 7 out of 10 makes you feel like that I at least gave this game a chance, that I wasn't being old school Sonic fan who wants nothing but speed, but I still feel like the speed was not entirely there for Sonic Lost World, and that's why I feel like this game kind of missed the mark. I hope you understand. Feel free to comment about it. If you disagree, I'd love to hear your opinion. I'd love to have a discussion. Maybe you can help me change my mind, but other than that, I give Sonic Lost World a 7 out of 10. This is me, Bobbert33, and I hope you continue watching my review.